What's up, guys, and welcome back to Dream a Little, the podcast that's all about helping you feel confident about ABDL so that you can enjoy it with your significant other. I'm your host, Lo. Thank you so much for listening. Today's interview with our guest, Jeff, had me actually rolling on the floor, so I think you're going to really, really enjoy it. The stuff you're about to hear is so hilariously disastrous. It's actually almost unbelievable. So stay tuned. If you want to hear a 90-second preview of my latest ABDL Nurturing Mommy roleplay, be sure to head over to thelittlelounge.com/140. You'll also find a link to sign up for access to all my roleplays for just $5. I release a new one every Monday, so be sure to check it out. Before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to some new patrons. So huge thank you to Wilson, Rick, Colin, Scott, Kevin, Josh, MJB, Simon, Noah, David, Amber, Sean, Jay, Gerard, Craig, Laura, and Mac. I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you're loving all the extra content on Patreon. All right, I'm not going to make you wait any longer. Let's get started. What's up, Jeff? How's it going?
Oh, going well.
Going well?
That's a loaded question. But to be honest with you, I mean, my lower back is killing me from a deadlifting competition I did with some of my friends. Got a busted rib from some stunts I do on the show that I work on. And I got stung by a centipede this morning.
You're just falling apart. I'm sorry for even asking, actually.
Other than that, great. You know,
stung
if this
by
was
a centipede.
sadismasochism podcast, then I'd be enjoying the pain. But
we're kind of getting into the opposite of that, but cool. So could you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you identify as within the ABDL world?
Mostly a DL, but you know, DD, LB, you know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I'll be anything. If it involves a diaper, I'm probably going to get off on it.
So have you dabbled a little bit in more of like the adult baby side, or is it just strictly DL?
Not me being the baby, but definitely, oh my God, I had so many like encounters. Let me see. Like definitely being like a daddy dom. It's gone bad though, to be honest with you.
What? Okay, wait. We have to back up. So it sounds like you've explored with some like vanilla girls then, or actual like other ABDLs too?
Well, no, never with other than online with the ABDLs, but definitely what I thought was not vanilla. But you know, it's amazing how vanilla somebody will go when you go with a kink like this. You know, 'cause, I mean, I'm not like stupid and try to introduce this to somebody who thinks like doggy style is like, oh my God, that's so way kinky. Out of line, you know. You know, so like the females that I'm choosing, I'm thinking, wow, this girl's kinky as hell. Like she's going to be into this. She'll try anything, and then bam, guess not.
Okay, okay, let's talk about that. So why did you think that these girls were kinky? Like what kind of things did they talk about or do that made you think, oh, they could be into this?
Well, you know, it's probably confirmation bias, I'd have to say. It's like I pick up these little signals and I'm like, oh, she's going to like this. Like, give you an incident. The very first person I introduced this to, I don't know, it might have been my second or third girlfriend. But she was fairly like a long-term relationship. I'm like, oh, okay, you know, this one, I'm going to marry this one. And we were fans of Howard Stern back in the day. And then Howard Stern had like, he was shown like on his TV show when he went to TV, he had like these girls on that were trying to get like tickets to their favorite band, and he would make them wear a diaper. I don't know if you ever seen that, but he had them wear a diaper on his TV program in order to get tickets to the show. And he's like, oh, if you do number one in it, then I'll give you backstage tickets and all that kind of stuff.
What? Is that really true?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, and then so my girlfriend at the time, she's like, oh, that's funny. I like that. You know, that's hilarious. I like that. And of course, she's just saying that's funny. But in my eyes, you know, my antennas go up. And I'm like, boom. Okay, she's into it.
All you got to do is bribe her with some concert tickets. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, but I mean, she loved sex in all kinds of ways. You know, she definitely liked being tied up, like being spanked, all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, all right, shit, this is going to work, you know? And then somehow I'll just slide in a diaper into the deal, you know. And she, what she really liked was like orgasm denial, you know.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I can make a diaper work for this, you know. I'll put it on her, and then I'll be like, too bad I can't get in there, you know. I can't work that pussy over, you know. It's just
Yeah.
like, and yeah, and it's and at the time, so I did it, you know. I put her in a diaper. I did just that, and she seemed to like. Of course, she was tied down and blindfolded, but she seemed to really enjoy that. So, and I thought, wow, all right, home run, you know. Very next morning, you know, I head downstairs. She's cooking breakfast, and she's like, "We need to talk."
Uh-oh.
I'm like, "All right, babe, what's up?" You know, yeah. And she's like, "We need to talk about last night." I'm like, "Yeah, that was pretty fucking hot for me too, huh? What'd you think?" You know, and she's like, yeah, it was hot, but the diaper thing." I'm like, "What?" You know, acting stupid, you know. And she's like, "That was disturbing." I'm like, "Well,
Disturbing?
you didn't look disturbed last night, you know."
She put
Yeah,
on a
she's
good
like, "That
show.
was disturbing." And I'm like, "So what's the big deal?" You know, and she's like, "Well, are you into that?" You know, and I'm like, "No, but I saw that." Of course, I lied, right? And I'm like, "No, but I saw that when we were watching Howard Stern, you were like, oh, that was funny. You were into that, you know." And she goes, "I just thought it was funny. I wasn't saying I was into it." And I'm like, "All right, well, okay, I fucked up. You know, I just thought it'd be something that we would do." And she just could not get past it. So I'm like, "Good, done talking. I got to go to work, you know." Left the house. I mean, it just kept coming up. "We need to talk a little bit more about that. We need to talk a little bit more about it." I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, it's no big deal. We had our little thing. It's done, you know. And
She
she
wanted to
just
keep
went like
talking
she
about
was
it.
pushing. Yeah, but she was pushing like that like I was a pedophile or something. Not like, oh, is this what you're into? You know. She just ultimately it ended the relationship.
Wow.
But that was the first incident. But there's been a number of ones in between.
So that was the first time. That had to hurt. I mean, your first time ever opening up to someone about it.
Yeah, yeah, but I didn't really open up about it, you know. I just kind of make it, oh, let's try this because we saw it on TV, you know. And to be honest with you, I've never opened up to anybody about it.
Really?
No.
You always play it like that? Do you always play that
Yeah.
same episode of Howard Stern and then you're like,
No.
just to
Because
test
Howard
the
Stern we
waters?
watched together, you know. Yeah. But yeah, no. But I've never opened and said, oh, I'm really into this, you know, because, and I don't know, like I said, I wish your book was around and your podcast was around before all this. Might have gone a different way for me.
So was that the worst time?
No.
Uh-oh.
Oh, hell
Oh no, it gets worse.
No, that was definitely not the worst time. There was a number of them. And, you know, I'm like everybody else in the sense that I've had this desire or kink like my whole life.
Yeah.
And I used to always look for trigger point, like, what caused this? Like, why am I like this? You know, what is into this shit? And I kind of believe, man, that we don't choose our kinks or our fetishes. They choose us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And because, like I said, as young as I can remember, I had this desire, I should say. And I used to be confused as hell by it, you know?
Yeah, it's
And
real
then as I got
confusing.
old, yeah. And like I catch myself staring at like the freaking, you know, Loves or Huggies commercials that come on. I'm like, what the hell? You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was that young kid that like discovered his penis like very early on, you know. So I think I was masturbating as early as I can remember.
So was I, actually. Maybe that has something to do with it.
Oh, yeah, perhaps, you know. I kind of picture, you know, this is gonna sound weird, but I kind of picture like this is how I like to think about it. And it choosing us. I picture us like being little children laying there in our beds, and this little kink fairy comes flying in through the window, and and it comes down there and touches us on with his pinky on our genitalia. It's like, now you're gonna have a diaper fetish, and you're gonna have a diaper fetish, and you're gonna have a diaper fetish, you know. And then if we had if we could foresee what that actually meant, we would be like, shit.
We're
You know?
fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for the lifetime of freaking shame and misunderstanding and not being able to find a partner.
It feels
Thanks a
like a
lot, diaper
curse,
fit.
right? It feels like a
Huh?
curse. It can feel like a
Yeah,
curse.
it absolutely. And then the little fairy's like, oh, but by the way, the next child I'm going to visit is 150,000 households away. Good luck finding each other. Haha.
Good luck finding each other, totally.
And it's like, why couldn't the freaking shoe fetish fairy visit me? Because he visits one in every 10 households, or the spanking fetish, one in every 5 households. It's
It
like,
would be
great.
so
I
much
had to get the
easier.
diaper fetish.
Got the short end of the stick here.
Yeah. It's like, shit, right from the beginning. Yeah, because I have no idea like what triggered it or how I got it.
I like your theory about the diaper fairy, but I don't know if there's much scientific proof to back it up.
No, I doubt there is. But something snagged us when we were little kids, so I don't know.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's just something you get fixated on when you're young, and then you just kind of think about it a lot, and then it just evolves into a fetch. I really don't know either, but that's my best guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like, and I just didn't have luck, and I would never tell my friends this because my friends would not understand. Like my friends, I mean, when we talk about girls, it's all like, oh, I freaking, I wrecked that pussy that last night, this and that. I mean, I gotta get an insight to my friends. Like my closest friends, like we're all like former military or former police. I was both, and most of us are competitive bodybuilders or MMA fighters. And like my one friend was a former Navy SEAL, my other friend was Marine Recon. And like I said, it's just a ton of testosterone. And, it's like, oh, hey, guys, guess what? I like diapers. They're like, what the fuck? And that's the kind of, they're like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like that's my friends, So I don't have those open-minded, oh, well, you should follow your kinks. You should follow your desires,
No,
It's
it's
like,
not like that.
yeah, that shit is not happening.
It's really interesting, though, the dichotomy. I'm sure no one would ever guess that you're into this.
No, not even a little bit. No, yeah, absolutely not.
I love that.
No.
Okay, well, I feel like you're leaving me hanging here because you were like, there was a worse situation. And I'm like on the edge of my seat, just like waiting to hear about this.
Yeah, all right, the worst one. Okay. Well, let me give you a little backstory on it because I thought, wow, this is a good candidate, right? Even though, so I started dating this girl and we were together for a while, like maybe 2 years. And she was super vanilla though, but oh man, she was hot. She was like half Japanese, half Irish, tall.
Hot.
And just, yeah, she was fucking hot, So I'm like, and that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she was super vanilla, and I'm like, all right, like we slowly worked into stuff, and thank God for that book, 50 Shades of Grey. So that freaking book came out, and she read the books, and she's like, got super turned on by it. I'm like, oh right, now we're gonna get to have some fun, So we visited the sex shop, and then we slowly like, well, I feel like I was slowly like I want to say introducing her to a more kinky lifestyle. I'm like, look how much fun we can have with this stuff, and she was just enjoying it. And it got to the point where we had this huge like chest of all kinds of toys and just bondage gear and all kinds of shit. And of course I always wanted to lean a little bit more towards the diaper side of things, but I took my time, and then I got my break was when she started really getting into this stuff. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, oh, you know what it was? She was on birth control, and when she came off of birth control, when she had an orgasm, like a mean orgasm, she would freaking squirt. She would squirt like a freaking lawn sprinkler. I'm not even kidding.
Damn.
Like this shit was like, it was like choo 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 choo. I'm like, oh fuck. How's this?
You need a shower afterwards.
Oh, the first time it happened, I was going down on her. and then she got so horny, and then it just started. I mean, it like I seen that shit in porn, but I didn't think it was real.
Yeah.
That is real. Like she was just shooting that stuff, And it was kind of fucked up. It was kind of fucked up about it. It was like at first I'm like, oh God, okay, wait, that was kind of gross because I mean it all went right in my face,
You weren't ready for that.
Yeah, which is weird because I enjoy like fucking going down on her, but now I'm like, oh, that was gross, And I was being a little bitch about it. Like I was like for like a whole week, I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm not even calling her or returning her text.
What?
Poor her, because yeah, I was being a total fucking dick, and I don't even know why. I was just kind of like, wow, that was like weird, too much, And
For
it
you?
wasn't because I know, right? I don't know. Like I said, I was just in like total bitch mode at that point, and then it was, I'll tell you, like the more I thought about it, the more I was getting turned on by it. And I would be thinking about that shit like in that following week, I would be thinking about, I'm like, oh man, that was actually kind of freaking hot. It's like, and then I'm like blowing up her phone and like I said, poor her. She was feeling so bad about it. She was like, oh my God, that like so embarrassed me. And then you didn't call me. And I'm like, now I think back, that was a real dick move to do,
Yeah.
but I didn't do it intentionally. I was just being a bitch, And then, so the squirting thing was like awesome. And now we went full bore into it. And then every single time we had sex, I tried to make her squirt like a little bit further. I wanted her to shoot it across the room. I was just like, man, I was doing everything, working the vibrating wand on her and everything, It's just,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, let's get this thing to go, And it got to the point, it was weird because when she came off that birth control, she would get so wet that we kept having to change the sheets.
Yeah.
Even in foreplay, like we kept having to change the sheets because she'd just be dripping and dripping.
Hot.
And yeah. And then we got to the point where we were putting like puppy pads under it because she got tired of like doing the sheets,
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, puppy pads, kind of looks like a diaper.
Kind of. Just wrap it up.
Yeah, kind of.
Put some tape on it.
Yeah. And it was funny too, because like I would get her like so close to squirting and then I would pull it up between her legs like a diaper,
Yeah.
And hey, and she was all into it. Like everything was freaking great. And I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. I'm gonna introduce it. And so this was probably after about 3 years of being with her. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna finally get her in a diaper, So we're having her sex. I tied her down because that's what she liked, And then I was just teasing her like crazy, blindfolded her, and we had the wand. I was using the magic wand thing, and so I was just, going over the top of her pussy with the wand. She's getting so freaking turned on. And then I remember telling her, I go, hey, so I got your squirting problem all taken care of. Don't worry, babe. I would just want you to just let it go, And then she thought, I think it was another puppy pad on her,
Mm-hmm.
So I actually like taped up the diaper on her. And then I'm running the wand over the diaper. And I guess in her mind because we never talked about it after this, that she just thought it was the puppy pad. So I'm freaking working it, I'm working it. And I'm getting so fucking turned on because here she is like all tied up, laying there in a diaper. And of course it was like an ABDL diaper that I told her afterwards that I picked up in a sex store, And she's like, they sell these in sex stores? I'm like, yeah, this one sold it. It's weird.
I love it.
Yeah. So I get her close to an orgasm and then she's kind of like squirming around in it. She's like moving around in it. And then she's like, babe, what is that? And I go, don't worry about it, babe. I got you, it's protection, so you can squirt. And she's like, what is that though? What is that? And I go, it's a diaper. I have you in a diaper. And I'm not even fucking kidding, Lo. This is what, like, all of a sudden her breathing just starts getting heavier and heavier. I'm like, oh, she's freaking into it. I'm like, well, right on, And she's like breathing. I'm like, yeah, baby, come for me, baby, come, And then she's like goes into a full panic, like, get it off.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I'm like, what? I'm like, what's going on? She's like, get it off, get it off. I'm like, what is it burning? Like, what's happening? Like, what's going on? You know? And then, like, I don't even know how this happened, but this is no exaggeration. She's laying down, tied down. She sits up super fast. And then this voice that came out from the depths of hell, get it off.
Oh my
Fucking
God.
head spun around 360 degrees. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, holy shit. You know, and I fucking ripped the diaper off. And I'm like, fuck it. And she's like breathing heavy. And she's like, and she's like calming down. I'm like, what? I'm like, babe, what the fuck? You know? And she's like in the panic. And she's like, babe, just continue. That's what she tells me. What? Yeah. She's like, continue. And she still got the blindfold on. She's like, she's laying down there. She's breathing. She's like, just continue. And I'm like, and I'm sitting there with my jaw like down on my chin, you know, because I just can't believe what I just witnessed, you know. And she's like, babe, what are you doing? Come on, continue, you know. I'm like, do we want to talk about what just happened? She's like, babe, what are you doing? What are you talking about? You know, you're acting stupid. Just use it. I'm like, I just fucking witnessed an exorcism. Like, I thought you were going to spray the room with like green vomit and shit. Like, and I go, where did that demon voice come from? And she's like, babe, you're being silly. What are you talking about? Like, almost that she didn't even know it happened.
What?
Yeah. Like, she like almost didn't even know it happened. And I'm sitting, I'm petrified. I'm just like, holy shit. like I don't want to continue, you know?
It kind of killed the mood a little bit.
Oh my God. I'm like, what the hell was that? And then, to be honest with you, we didn't even continue. I can't, you know, this was a little while ago, so I can't remember exactly if we finished it off or not. I don't think we did, though. Because it was so traumatizing for me, I barely remember what happened after that. You know,
You like blacked out.
oh yeah, it was like she blacked out, and it was literally like an exorcism. I'm not even kidding.
So what
And
happened then?
she never spoke of it again. You know?
What?
And of course she never spoke of it again. And I brought it up like probably the next morning, and I'm just like, hey, I'm really sorry about that. And she's like, why? That was great. I'm like, and I didn't even want to say it because I was kind of hoping that maybe somehow like she doesn't remember it.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I bring it up again? You know, because the fucking, I'm like, what the hell? You know? And I'll tell you what, talk about binge purge after that. I'm like, that's it. Because there was a few there was a few like incidents in between that went bad, but that one was like a really bad one.
It
was
sounds
like,
scary.
it was scary, you know. It's just, and then I'm like, well, maybe that wasn't such a good idea, like just throwing it on her, you know. But
Yeah, probably not.
yeah, but I mean, like, who would react like that? It's like, what the fuck? Like,
it's weirder to me that she didn't really remember it potentially or talk about it, and she wanted you to continue. That's what's the weirdest part for me.
Like directly after it happened, she wanted me to continue. You know,
she just really wanted to come. I mean, she was just horny, I guess. I don't know.
and I did not even want her to see the freaking diaper afterwards. So like I instantly like while she was still blindfolded, shoved it in like my book bag, you know, or my backpack that I had. And I'm like, that like we kept all our toys in and shit like that. But I'm like, and then I snuck that diaper outside, you know, and threw it in the trash bin. I'm like, fucking hell, how is that?
God. So did you guys break up for unrelated reasons to that?
Yeah, unrelated pretty much. She started, you know, she was a psychiatrist too, right? So I'm like, it's kind of, I don't know if that means anything, but I was just, yeah. After that, I mean, there was it was just, that was definitely, and of course I held some resentment towards it, you know. I'm just like, and I was like super pissed off because, I did a bunch of shit that she was into that I was not into, like for her and that kind of thing. And man, I didn't react like that. I don't know, obviously, like, it was extremely traumatic to her subconscious self.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. She was very
Yeah,
disturbed by it.
extremely disturbed by it, and like, so from like my first girlfriend, and she was the very last one, the very last girlfriend that I actually like tried to do any of that stuff to,
I can see
or,
why.
yeah, right, exactly. And I'm not kidding, that probably was my fifth or sixth incident that it didn't go well, and some of them were like calm. I had one girlfriend that used to call me daddy all the time. She's like, "Oh, daddy, this, that, but a lot of girls do that.
They do. It's confusing as
Yeah,
hell for an ABDL.
fuck yeah, it is, right? So she was always doing that, and then she was really into like slavery and stuff like that. And this is one of these girls that's like, when I first met her, she's like, "Oh, when can I move in?" I'm like, "Whoa,
Oh.
whoa, whoa. Yeah, pump the brakes, girl." You know. But she's like, "Oh, but if I move in, I can be your sex slave all the time." And then I'm like, "Whoa, that sounds pretty fucking good to me, actually." And she goes, "And then I'll give daddy whatever daddy wants, you know." And she's like, "You can keep me in chains all day long and this and that." And I'm just like, "Oh, all right." And I said, "Well, I don't want just any sex slave girl. I want a baby sex slave girl."
Oh.
And she's like, she starts laughing. She goes, "Whatever daddy wants." And I'm like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "All right." And I'm like, "This sounds pretty good." And then she just kept going about it. And then I even like got more real with her. I'm just like, "Hey, what you said, are you just talking shit, or like, do you really want to kind of have that kind of a relationship?" And she's like, "No, like," she's like, "You don't know me. I'm super kinky. I'm probably way too kinky for you." And I'm like, "Yeah, I doubt it," but in my own head, but okay, And then she's like, "Yeah." She goes, "That's a huge fantasy of mine. I would love to be like just an in-house sex slave, where I don't have to work. I just take care of my daddy." And she kept saying daddy and not master and all that kind of shit. I'm like, well, she's got to be fucking into this, right?
Right.
And so, and then I learned my lesson, like with a few, incidents before that horrible one. And I'm just like, I'm going to, just so you know, your attire as my baby slave is, I'll have you in the chains that you want, but you're going to wear a diaper, And she starts laughing and she goes, "Okay, whatever daddy wants." I'm like, "Yes." I'm
Wow.
like, "Oh, fucking hell. Yeah. Like, about time I'm going to get what I want.
Yeah.
And so I kept bringing it up. And then she would make these comments. She's like, and now I was actually talking about moving in with her, or her moving in with me. And I'm like, "Hey, maybe you should move in with me. And she goes, "Yeah, babe, whenever you're ready, I would love to move in." Because she had a kind of a shit, she was living with her grandma and shit. And I'm like, "Yeah, baby, you can move in with me." And she's like, but she goes, the only thing is I fear I'm just going to be like tied up and wearing a diaper all day long. I
And
go,
you're
"Not
like,
all
well,
day,
that
but
was the agreement, right?
yeah, yeah." So I'm like, "Not all day, but maybe most days." She's like, that kind of thing. And so, well, one time we were together, fuck, I brought out a diaper, and I put it on her in complete agreement, no blindfold. I wanted her to see it. And you know what? She got up, she did a little dance. She was just like feeling it, rubbing her crotch and just like, "Wow, this feels weird." But she's like, "It's actually kind of comfortable. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, all right." Finally, it's just going to happen. And this was after we had sex. So we had sex, and then I put the diaper on, and we fell asleep, laying in the bed together. And she wakes up. She goes, "Oh, I gotta go piss." I go, "Use the diaper." Fucking mistake. You don't say that. You gotta take it in steps. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Just use the diaper," and she's like, "No, babe. I'm not ready for that." Just kind of like, I'm like, "Okay, go ahead." I go, "Well, let me take it off for you, and then you can go into the bathroom." So I take it off, and then I was like, we were both really freaking hungry, and I'm like, "Oh," I wanted to put it right back on her, but I'm like, "Yeah, we're gonna go out and get something. I'm not gonna make her wear it in public." But as soon as we get home, fuck, that diaper's going to go right back on. You know? And then something happened where she got a phone call from her grandma, blah, blah. She ended up having to go home. And so she left. So she didn't stay over that night. And then the next day she's like, oh, can I stay over again? I'm like, of course, babe, come on over. And she goes, that's awesome. And she goes, obviously, in her own words, she's like, yeah, I just want to get it on. I'm like, great. And she goes, except the diaper. I'm never wearing that again.
Oh.
I'm like, what? Yeah. And she was like all like good about it. Like, she's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to taste your cock, this and that, just getting all like trying to get me all worked up. And she goes, do what you ever want. You can do whatever you want with me, baby. I can't wait. I'm so horny tonight. I'm like, oh, okay. And she goes, but, yeah, I'm not wearing the diaper.
Fuck.
I'm like, why? She goes, and she wouldn't even give me an explanation. She's like, yeah, I can't. I'm like, not even a little bit. She's like, yeah, no. In fact, I'm never, ever wearing that again.
Ooh.
I'm like, wow. I didn't think it was that bad, but
yeah,
apparently it was,
Everyone's got their hard limits, it's definitely not for everyone, but I feel like there are worse things,
Yeah, exactly. And none of the incidents, because I mean, obviously when I was like growing up, I would go through periods where I would wear them, and I mean, it got to the point where, you try out different things. It's like, yeah, like, and of course I would wear them now and then and jerk off in them,
Yeah.
Just getting, wow, do I like this? Of course I like this. Fucking anything that involves a diaper, I like it,
Yeah.
But my desire was always to put somebody else in one. Like I got way turned on by the thought of somebody else being in one. So I never like walked out wearing a diaper in front of a girlfriend or something like that. And she'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I've done that.
Might have gone
it's not
easier
fun.
Though.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Trust me, I've done that before. It does not go over very well. Would not recommend doing that.
And I'm thinking, I wonder what's worse. Like, like for them, the opposing, like them having to wear it, because then they, I don't know what they're feeling, if it's like degrading or shameful or what, or seeing me wear it and feeling like an idiot because they're not into it,
I feel like you wearing it is way worse. Just my personal opinion. I feel like you wearing it and them not liking it is actually worse.
I think so too. Yeah. Because then you feel like an idiot, you're just like, oh my God. And then what are they going to tell their friends, you actually have probably a better chance of them telling their friends if you wore it, because you don't look, it's like, oh my God, she's telling her girlfriends, can you believe like he freaking walked out wearing a diaper?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird,
Girls tell each other everything, so that would happen.
But I bet if maybe they're not saying, oh, you know what he did? He tied me up and he put me in a diaper,
Yeah.
So, and even if they did tell their girlfriends, like, I'd be like, fuck it, I hope they're into it.
Yeah, maybe that's a good strategy. Maybe one of her girlfriends will hear it. She's actually into it, and then she'll contact you.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the strategy.
That's never happened.
All right, Jeff. Well, we're running out of time here, but I seriously had so much fun hearing all your stories, and at the expense of you. I know that it was not fun in the moment, but I'm glad that you can laugh about it now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like, and you learn from every mistake, so I know what not to do,
and now we know what not to do from hearing your stories too.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want a diaper exorcism happening.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, and that shit was real too, so nobody should experience that.
No. All right, Jeff.
I never got high. I'll be honest with you, I never got high until after that, so.
What?
It's like,
that drew you to the drug. You're like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah. After that, I'm just like, oh my God. Because that shit really did give me PTSD,
Oh my God, you're hilarious.
But I want to say I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate this podcast and the information you put out and what you're doing for the community.
Well, I
so
really
there's no doubt
that.
you're doing an absolute great thing.
Thank you so much. I mean, this is my job here. I get to hear hilarious stories from people like you. It's pretty awesome.
And like I said, if your listeners like me, I have more.
Okay, well, maybe we'll have you on a second time.
Yeah, I got more. And I'll probably create more too. Just hopefully they go better.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, Jeff. Well, thank you so much again for coming on the show.
All right, love. Thank you again.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon.